Taking an in-depth look at the finest student athletes in Stark County, WHBC Sports presents Behind the Athlete with Jon Bozeka.
Mitch Mitchell is a senior quarterback and defensive back here at East Canton. He's making waves this year for the Hornets. He's the type of kid who's studious, athletic, and whose actions oftentimes speak bigger than words. WHBC Sports had to come out here to East Canton to find out what makes Mitchell just so special. This is Behind the Athlete, and this is Mitch Mitchell. Mitchell, who has played in a Hornets uniform since his freshman year, explains how being a senior is different.
It's something new. I've learned a lot coming up through my freshman year, playing all 4 years for East Canton. It's a big task because you have to lead by example and you have to lead all the other players.
Mitchell doesn't view himself as a spoken leader, but in crunch time, he wants the team on his shoulders.
There's no better feeling with a minute left and you have to march down the field to score. That's a fun challenge. I like challenging things, and it's my job playing quarterback.
He explains why he likes being in the 2-minute drill to win the game for his Hornets.
The pressure's on you. The pressure, the whole crowd screaming, everybody's looking at you, and you have to just step up to the line and do your job.
Do your job and commitment, two terms instilled by head coach Jon "Spider" Miller, and he sees them in Mitchell.
He studies film, he's very coachable, willing to do anything for the team. It's never about him, it's about us, we. He just gives all-out effort. You know, and if he does something, throws a bad ball, he gets mad at himself. You know, he critiques himself sometimes too hard. But just being that leader and his presence alone on our football field is a big thing for us.
Spider Miller has a kid in Mitchell who has won at a high level in other sports as well. Just last spring, he was on the Division III state championship track team from East Canton. Mitchell is not the only track kid playing football, but it impacts his playing between the 20s and still leaves a smile on Mitchell's face to this day.
It's probably one of the best feelings I've ever had. It was just one of a kind. Like, there's no other feeling like that.
Well, those guys had the work habits. I mean, through track, I mean, they worked hard, and we have too, like all sports. But, you know, those guys came with a championship ring and a trophy. You know, to bring that into our sport, and luckily we have a lot of those kids that were on that state track meet, or state track team, you know, and we're trying to utilize that speed.
Coming full circle, Miller sees the confidence that has developed in his two-way senior.
Over the time, the years that he's put in, I think, you know, he wants to be the man in charge. And it's the same thing on defense. He wants him, throw the ball in my zone, you know, or if I'm playing man, go ahead. Because he plays very well, but he actually gets even better as time goes on in the game. He just gets the feel of it. But you know, Mitch, like I said, studies films, pays attention to all the details, and that, you know, for him to do that offensively and defensively, that's a great leader right there. You don't always have to be vocal, you know, but he leads by example.
And ultimately for Mitchell, who's in his second year with Spider Miller, he sees what the old ball coach has done for him and his teammates.
He showed me, like, how much work you really need to put in if you want to succeed, because earlier in the years, like, I know I slacked off being a freshman and sophomore, but now every play I'm going 100%, I'm not giving up. He just shows us what we need to win.
Mitchell makes plays on both sides of the ball, and he even exudes confidence on both sides of the ball. Ultimately, he understands his role on a very small roster here at East Canton. It's why his coach and his teammates can look to him to be a leader. For WHBC Sports, I'm Jon Bozeka.
WHBC Sports presents Behind the Athlete with Jon Bozeka, taking an in-depth look at the finest student athletes in Stark County.